So we'll recap the 1120 turn, the Battle of Austerlitz. Starting in the south, as is our custom, we see the French have largely maintained their position, completely in control of Telnitz. But a quick cavalry counterattack did rout one French battalion and leave them a little a loss to take countermeasures in their next turn. See, the Russians have tried to close. See that oddly placed company of guns had been fighting off, kind of curiously, a French cavalry regiment, and at such close range, and with such a huge fire factor, 36, they destroyed that regiment. We see Soult is still strongly in French hands. The Russians are making some progress, pushing back some battalions, inflicting some casualties, especially with those gun lines there. But they have yet to make any real progress. Of course, for victory purposes, it's too late. But if they can grind down those French battalions, they can still inflict some loss, victories, points. The Russians are steadily making ground in the Pheasantry. The French skirmishers are probably ready to counterattack. They have inflicted a lot of casualties and now are probably ready to go ahead and try to drive those guys back with a melee. Moving north, we can see the situation around Puntowitz is improving a little bit for the French. Their cavalry charge of the Dragoon Division managed to disrupt the Russians a little bit. But the Russians have reformed their line just along the creek and are ready to move forward again into the trees. The French have been able to create enough of a line to hold and hopefully give them a chance to bring back some of those rallied forces that are sitting back here in the tree line. Napoleon will get that last guy next. That should help stabilize this side of the front. The fact that the Russian third column is also a little bit weak helps the French as well. The Russians are probably not going to be able to make as strong a push here against Vendôme as they will be able to against the remains of Saint-Hilaire's division. We see Dumas has actually shown up and taken control. The French Guard has moved up, cavalry and infantry, have not made a move to join the fray just yet. If we come back to the heights here, we see a very strong Russian gun line with very long range, and the Guard is staying just out of range. Don't want to commit too soon. We see the position on the heights here has not been assailed at all, and the Russian Life Guard is very strongly positioned to support whomever they might need to. Then we see Liechtenstein's cavalry holding the right pretty strongly. That's the end of the good news for the coalition. They have a fair amount of French cavalry here opposing them, but it's Bernadotte's First Corps that is going to prove to be the real challenge for holding that position. That and the combined grenadiers, which are moving up in support. The French are in much better shape in the north. Basically, Bagration's advanced column is gone, see a few straggler battalions trying to run for their lives here. Some Agurskis trying to screen the retreat, but otherwise we have large amounts of routed, exhausted cavalry and wide open spaces for the French to pour through. The Cossacks and Hussars there are the only thing that are really going to arrest their advance down the highway there. And out to the right, just some light cavalry trying to push around, continue the pursuit. So in the main, the fight is going to be determined, I think, in the center. I don't think there's any way to help Bagration in the north. There was some thought to sending Liechtenstein's cavalry. That's still a possibility across this open plain here. Try to divert the French from their mad dash down the road to claim victory points. But otherwise, it's going to key on this fight here between Austrians and Bernadotte. The preference would be to keep Liechtenstein available to strike Bernadotte and help out the Austrians. The rest of the fights will tend to be more skirmishes and attrition with no real benefit gained by either side. So we'll push on to the 1140 turn and see how that unfolds.